the food crisis couldn't happen where you do have a bit of a scare. Honestly, all you need is just the hint of a panic, and it causes an actual panic. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We had that in Texas with gas. I don't remember how much ago, but there was supposed to be this fuel shortage from a hurricane that was coming to the Gulf. And it's like, wow, I thought we had hurricanes kind of regularly, like every once in a while a hurricane would come through and we still had gas. I don't know. Call me crazy, but everybody went to the pumps. And because everybody went to the pumps, now instead of having, half a tank, people would always make sure that they had a full tank. And so, of course, it pulled all the supply out of the marketplace. And so you see lines. I waited in line for an hour because I was almost out. I'm like, well, I gotta make sure I have some fuel to be able to get to work. And
it doesn't take much.
No, it really doesn't.
Could whack the dog.
Bread-mageddon. I don't know if you remember that in Dallas specifically, because there was an ice storm, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, not the big one that we had like 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And everybody thought, oh my gosh, the news was like, hey, you could run out of food, make sure you have food. And it's like, this was the kind of ice storm that lasts a day in Texas. And the bread aisle was completely empty. I'm like, why did you go to bread? There's like plenty of other good food over here.
All the ramen's gone.
All the steaks are just fully stocked. I'm like, it's a steak.
It's a great story, though.
It is. That's what people do.
Empty aisle.
Oh, I know, man.
Frenzy.
Panic.
Oh, they love
doom
it.
and gloom.
Eat it up.
Oh, yeah. If it bleeds, it leads kind of thing. Well, if it causes people to go out and buy stuff, that's right. That's what we do. We're controlled.
Corvette girl. Out effing
Wonder Bread are circulating WEF papers is saying a pandemic's going to drop in, September 13th.
Yeah.
So
see my new chip?
2 days from now?
Yeah, so that's what I've been seeing.
What do we do?
New chip.
Yeah.
Should we get ahead of it?
It's Super 8. What are you going to do?
I don't know. Put a mask on, see if that works.
Yeah, I'll do.
Oh, it's Super 8. Good. Yeah.
So you're already immune.
I am.
If you have regular age, you're immune to Super 8.
Well, that's good. That's an unknown benefit. I don't
think it works
actually
like
have
that.
any
It's science. I took the class for that.
Okay, but you're hiding behind the mic. I don't think I can trust you.
He's like,
I'm getting art direction from
I know. You got
me, guys.
Listen, you're the guy on camera, not them. You tell them to shut up.
Well, I drive a lot, so this is my second windshield on this thing.
Hanging out with this Mud Club, it is only possible because of you.
And they ain't cheap either with all the fucking cameras and shit.
Out there who have been on the fence, maybe let them know. Like, there's a lot of fun that we have.
It's like a $500 deductible.
The show ends without actually
But
doing what I said I was going to do.
I guess the windshield replacement itself is like $2,800.
So
So
the promo code for as many people. And look,
just another
that's the
expense
stuff,
I don't want to
some
fucking deal with. I'm hoping they'll be able to
extra
fix it
to Mud Club. There's a lot in the
before it
works because
spreads. So
it
I'm
takes
gonna
a
call
lot
it in
to
today. I didn't even notice.
There's a lot of work.
I heard it the other day, but I didn't see it until this morning.
Steven's not wrong. He gets those messages at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I get them too, and it's just a voice. Gerald, I was just thinking, I could do 17 hours of it every weekend and give at least a lot of that to my clients. It's going to be great, man. And he has. This guy works harder than anybody that I've ever seen because he's got that 3 or 4 hour block that he does every day. I think it's 3 hours. Yeah. And then he added a show with us on Friday, and then he's like, I think I'm going to add a 4th hour, Joe. 4 hours. That's the number. That's the magic number. And that 4th hour is only going to be available on Monday. And I'm like, geez, 4 hours times this 20 some odd hours that he's actually on air. We need, a couple hours a day times 4 plus some recording. I'm like, he is an animal. He's just a machine, and it's just him. He's there. Then he's got some packages he throws to and some commercial breaks, and that's fine. Still, it's a lot of work. But getting those guys in. All
right, guys. You were all here when I got here, so somebody go. Thank you.
It takes a lot of focus, a lot of time, and a lot of energy to be able to do that. And we're doing it. But there's more that we want to be able to give you. There are more benefits that we want to give you. And by the way, speaking of benefits, this wonderful mug, fantastic mug here, right? It's ready to ship. Are you man enough to have it shipped? Or woman enough to have it shipped? Just do me a favor. I don't know if it's available on the app on your phone. You may have to log into Mug Club on a computer or maybe an iPad. I don't know. Just don't go into the actual app. Go there and put in your address so it can ship you the mug. On the right-hand side, when you log into Mug Club, when you look at kind of the, I think it's the post view, you can actually see it says, claim my mug. Click on claim my mug on the right-hand side. Put your address in. We will get you a mug. If you have any issues with it, officialcrowdershop@gmail.com. If you have a mug that's broken or anything like that, because when you ship out this many
allergies fired up this morning.
You've got an Ace Ventura pet detective guy who's going to kick the package down the hallway every once in a while and break your mug. And we want you.
We're not stopping. I brought a tea with me, so
not broken. But there's
going straight through. I had to
enjoy, hang out with us as much as you can on Mug Club. See you tomorrow.
Little accident this morning, getting ready. Gonna do a little reset. Doing good though. Got AG1 in me. Oh. I'll turn this on just in time for it to be over. I want to make sure it's actually over. Sometimes they'll come back and talk. All right, it is. How much time we got until this starts?
All right, my friends, it is a beautiful Monday, and we are back in business. I hope you had an incredible weekend. I had a very nice weekend. Very relaxing, got to catch up on a bunch of stuff, and feeling good, feeling rejuvenated.
Put in the hot tub last night.
We're going to have a busy week.
So we'll be doing some hot tub streams.
Even as we dropped on Friday.
Sexy as fuck.
Walk and Talk Friday, and you did Saturday show. There was a bunch of stuff. I mean, you had that.
Bought an inflatable hot tub.
In Mexico, we'll talk about.
It's only going to take 3 days for it to warm up.
India, or was it India? We'll take a look. Actually, let's just start right there. Here is what the president.
Yeah, happy TSA Day.
Trying to get our bearings straight. What the heck is going on? We had a little bit of a wonky schedule last week, but we're back on track this week.
The birth of the TSA, the most useless out of many useless three-letter agencies that can just go bye-bye.
Today,
probably the most useless
though. A meeting of CEOs with the Prime Minister, so they're still bouncing around over there. And he's been over there all day.
I love it when they publish their failed tests.
September 11th, as we saw on this date.
I did too. I used to travel a lot.
A little bit. C-SPAN had some activity going on there. The president visit John McCain's memorial. So that was bright and early this morning. That's all already done. And then he's flying back. So he actually might be in the air already. So he departed at 5:40 a.m. He's probably in the air right now. Going back over to Alaska. And then he is doing something on 9/11. So tonight, he's going to deliver remarks on the anniversary of 9/11 at a joint base. Then he's departing Anchorage back over to Joint Base Andrews. So he's got a full day today. A lot of traveling. Hopefully he gets some sleep and they pump him full of whatever adrenaline that he needs. Because yesterday, man, it was rough. Over the weekend, he had a couple of rough clips. I'm sure a couple of them with you. But he got cut off. So he was traveling overseas, and Karine was joining him, Karine KJP, Jean-Pierre, and flying around with him, and they cut him off right in the middle of a speech. It was pretty embarrassing, but that's our president. What else can you do? So you can see a lot of activity. He had a press conference. This is the one that we'll take a look at. So 8:30 in the morning yesterday. Still getting the daily briefing. And he's actually been up to some stuff. Now, people are saying, well, okay, that's nice. He's actually busy. He's doing some stuff. That's great. But can he actually talk when he goes and does these things? Not really. Not really. Here's what we've got. He is, a couple of clips from him. Biden gets very.
I had a blast on
confused during
Saturday
the
though
press
with my son. That
conference.
was so much fun.
I'm just following.
Shane Gillis was fucking hilarious.
Is there anybody that hasn't spoken yet?
The other two comedians, it's their links are on his Instagram.
So he's just fumbling around. It's kind of sad to watch him fumble around with the card and not really even read it. You know, not even really know what the heck he's looking at. That wasn't the big one. This is the big one. So he just starts rambling off, like 2.1 million views on this one. Access. And he's just talking, and they cut him off. And, you know, they give him the mic so that he can walk around a bit. But then they just cut the mic off. Like, pay close attention to the mic guy. The mic guy's like on a hair trigger. He's just like, all right, off, okay, on, okay, off, okay, on. As soon as he puts the mic down, they turn off the mics. Then he picks it back up, and they got to turn it back on again because he's the president, and you can't leave him muted. And it's just rough, you know. Kareem just literally cuts him off.
We talked about at the conference overall. We talked about stability. We talked about making sure that third world,
he's in Hanoi. Oh my God.
The Southern Hemisphere had access to change. Had access. It wasn't confrontational at all.
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
She literally just cut him off.
Thank you.
Play the music. You're done. Lights off.
I'm crazy with every person I know.
You're done. Play him off. You can see Kareem back there. She's like a little producer, you know. She's like, all right, okay, mics go down, music go up. Okay, keep the lights on. All right, now turn. Okay, you're done. All right. It's here. We'll watch it just one more time, just so you can see how embarrassing it is. Like, this is the leader of the free world. If he wants to say something, he can say something. You know, he's free to do that. Now, he's actually not competent. That's the problem. So here's where they just cut him off.
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Gosh. Hit the music.
Crazy with every person I know.
Nice team stuff. Really relaxing. Great. Oh, this is normal. Music's good. Music's chill. So this is normal. It must be good because the music's kind of chill. Don't have your blood pressure go up. It's just jazz music. It's pretty embarrassing, isn't it? It's not good. Now his poll numbers are quite.
Oh wow,
as a result.
That's crazy.
Of this. I mean, it's.
I kind of like to watch that.
This was the latest over from Breitbart. They've got, I think CBS had this poll. Yeah, right. This isn't like a Breitbart poll. This is a CBS poll, and here's what they said. Let's see if we can get rid of this stupid bar down here. Why do they do this? To interfere with our streams. I can't get rid of it. All right. Anyways, President Joe Biden has an approval rating of 40%, while 60% of Americans are unhappy with his performance, including, this is the big number, 70% of independents. Yeah, that's rough for them. Not good. 70% of independents. Biden's approval rating on par with the Economist YouGov poll released last week, which showed that 38% of Americans gave him positive marks about his performance versus 55%.
One of those electrical Amazon vans. Electric.
Looking deeper, 79% of Democrats surveyed approve of Biden in the latest poll. 92% of Republicans, 69% of independents disapprove. That is just rough for them. Exactly half of independents, quote, strongly disapprove of the president, while 19% somewhat disapprove. Half. Only 31% approve of his performance. In other words, he's got an abysmal net minus 38 approval rating among independents. Rough. His approval rating is underwater across the board on key issues with U.S. adults. Economy's down, inflation's down, immigration's down, abortion's down too. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering, like, they could really use, I was thinking about this over the weekend, like, they could really use a really bad abortion ruling. Like, I think mifepristone is going up to the Supreme Court, and that's the pill. So, you know, if something happened with that, like if the Supreme Court came back down and said also mifepristone or something, right, that would cause another reaction, just like we saw again previously. Only 35% approve of Biden's handling of the economy, even though his dumb campaign is trying this new Bidenomics branding blitz. It's the dumbest thing that they could do. I mean, what they should have called it is like Trumponomics or something, and said all this inflation is Trump's fault, right? This is what happens if you elect him again, right? You know, this is his fault. We inherited this, but they can't really make those arguments because they're the ones who printed it all. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Only 26% of the independents are happy about this, about immigration. Only 34% say they approve of how Biden has approached the issue. Well, that's Kamala's problem. You know, I don't know what else people want. She told them, do not come. Do not come, you know. Here you go. Speaking of the fact that he can't hardly talk, Biden is making the U.S. position in the world 50% say weaker or not much effect is 26%. Those are rough numbers, man. And the poll was conducted recently, September 5 through 8, 2,300 adults, 2.7 percentage point results. You know, so you always got to take polls with a grain of salt, and you know, sometimes they're push polls. Like, you know, I really think that there are lies, damn lies, and statistics, right? Polling, I think, falls within that latter category. But it is curious to see the trends, and I think this matches reality, quite frankly. If everybody's feeling it in their pocketbooks, and I think everybody is, then you would expect those numbers to be where they are. So anyways, I want to carry on with this. I've got this story about who the 5 Democrats are who might replace Joe. I still think it's a lot. I mean, I have a hard time believing that they keep him around. I really do. But anyways, let's see what you guys say about this and see how your mornings are unfolding. Mornings, we're into the afternoons over there on the East Coast. How was everybody's weekend? We're back in business, back on the regular schedule, which I always appreciate. Here we go. Who's in the house? Building 7 didn't kill itself from the Antikiss. Good to see you, B. You know, speaking of Building 7, I was thinking about this one. I was actually looking for this. Just let me see if I can recreate this here. I tried this on my phone this morning, I think it was. Solid blur. I don't even know what era it is. What hour is it? I don't know. But I was trying to find this WT. So if you go over to YouTube and you type WT7 Truth in on YouTube. Yes. Okay. So, you know, remember there used to be like, so I can recreate it. Check this out. This is exactly what you get. So here I am searching for WTC7 Truth, World Trade Center Building 7 Truth on YouTube. And when the internet used to be cool, like when it used to be like an actual place where you could find cool stuff and like learn stuff and like, you know, dig in and actually go find conspiracy theories and stuff, you would at least get some videos about it. Like at least get some videos that would be interesting. Okay. And this is a good example.
Well, if they were worried about his health,
this happens all the time.
He's been like this for a few years, so I don't think they care.
If I'm looking for,
I think he's easier to. I think they believe he's easier to control. They actually want him to survive.
11 Truth, or like
the really deep state want him to survive.
Some might call it a conspiracy theory, but since our government lies to us, I think that the real conspiracy theory is believing our government. Really, that's kind of insane. Like, really? You do that? That's crazy, man. You believe what the government tells you? Like everything? Wow, what a psycho. Anyways, so, you know, here...
They'll keep Kamala as the VP because then they're like, okay, get rid of me, and that's who you got.
This fact-check garbage, right? Independent fact-check. And I don't know what happened.
They're evil, but they're not stupid.
I would just like to know the alternative side of this. I got questions about it, man. Can I just ask some questions? So on WTC7 Truth, you get all of these fact checkers, right? USA Today fact check. It collapsed by fire, not pre-rigged explosives. Okay. And then you've got this one, another fact check from Snopes. No, the owner of the WTC building 7 didn't, quote, admit it was demolished. I don't think he admitted it, but he did say pulled. He did say it was pulled. We definitely heard that statement. Anyways, the point is, and we can play that if we want to. But look, here's the point. Look at all these, look at where this gets sourced from, right? And I don't know what this Young Turks video is, but a scientific report comes out explaining it. So I'm sure it's, standard. But this is from NIST, right? The first result is NIST, National Institutes of Standard and Technology. Vice TV, I don't know what this one is. Maybe that's an alternative theory. But this one is History Channel, National Geographic's channel, AP Archives channel. This, it's all just official stuff. Here's a simulation evaluation of how it happened. All right, you watch it, it's all going to be legitimate. It's all like, oh no, fire burnt it down. This computer simulation from Smithsonian. We're looking for conspiracy stuff. We're looking for the alternative explanation. Trump repeats a claim. CNN. Here CNN's playing Ventura. They wanted it to happen. Here's a debunking of the conspiracies, right, and all this stuff. My point is, I'm specifically, whether you believe it or not, right, whether you think it's true or not or whatever, I'm looking for it, and YouTube still won't serve it up to me. They just won't give it to me. A long time ago, if I would have typed this in, WT7 Truth, and all the documentaries, Loose Change, and all of the questions, all of the analysts, multiple videos. But you just don't get that anymore because, all of the intelligence agencies don't want you to see this stuff, and they shove it in your face. Fact check, fact check, fact check, fact check, fact check. Because we're too stupid to figure it out on our own, I guess. Anyways, so, it's just irritating. Like the internet
search on Brave.
Cool. Are you using a non-Google browser? Yeah, this is Bing, actually. This is Internet Explorer, whatever. Zeitgeist, that was a great film. I like that movie a lot. It was, there was a lot I had questions about in that film, but I enjoyed it. That was one of the first ones that I watched when I was younger, and it got me really thinking, this is weird. Maybe there's an alternative way to think about all this stuff.
Where the fuck are you going, dude?
Yeah, Bing uses Google instead of doing its own internet index. Well, I think so I did that on my phone, even in the YouTube app. I searched that even in my phone on the YouTube app. So my point is, it's just Google, Yeah. Golden Gaming says, I remember the day vividly. Look up emergency response to terrorism self-study with the airplane on the Twin Towers, says Golden Gaming. What's up, Golden? Good to see you. And good morning, everybody. We got 51Ks here. We got MAGA Hat Stays. We got Nathan's in the house. We got South Sensei here. We got V's in the house. Cohen's here. Good to see everybody. Bonnie's here. Conspiracy theories equals connecting the dots. Yeah. Mr. Brownstone's here. We've got, there's World Trade Center.
Where you going, Clean Earth?
7. No plane hit that building. And wasn't there that clip when he said that's when we told him to pull it? Let me see if I can grab it. From Silverstein or something. That's when he said to just pull it. And maybe he just had a misspeaking of the words or something. Yeah, it's even hard to find these clips. But yeah, he said pull it or something like that. Silverstein said pull it, I think. Is that his name?
How do we keep getting these?
Yeah, Larry Silverstein. Here's a clip.
Here he goes again.
Telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. And the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull. And then we watched the building collapse.
Okay. Now, you could argue, if you're just playing devil's advocate on that, you could say, okay, well, maybe that means pull the fire defenses. They're there trying to put out the fires, and they said, no, pull it, just let it go. and then it collapsed naturally on its own. Or it could mean, he said, just, like pull it and blow the building up. I don't know. So stuff like that is very curious. And then those clips, you just really can't ever find them again. They're all buried. And then everything gets fact checked. So if you try to find stuff like that, you get fact checked about it because it's obviously erroneous, clearly erroneous. Yeah. Words. Spud says our military shot down 93. All right, can you ask that question? Are you allowed to ask that question? Was that supposed to be hit by the plane the passengers put down in the field? I don't know. This one's still up. Includes a reporter saying that it has gone down with it behind her. Yeah, there was some weird stuff on that. Here. BBC reporter. Let me see if I can just pull this quick clip up. And like all the videos are ancient, right?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York, behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job. But this isn't the first building that has suffered as a result. We know that part of the Marriott Hotel next to the World Trade Center also collapsed as a result of this huge amount of falling debris from 110 floors of the two twin towers of the World Trade Center. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that
so that's WT7, and I guess she was just saying that it had already come down. Yeah, I mean, it's just, weird stuff is going on over there, so strange. Anyways, I remember a lot of it, man, and I remember when it happened, like I think when I was in college. So it happened when I was in high school, and then in college I started to like wake up a little bit. It's like, what's going on here? That's when still in office. MAGA Hat Stays says they fact-checked the news interview with Trump on 9/11. The TV interview on the ground was 2 days after 9/11. He called into a radio interview on 9/11. Look into 6. 6 is the most important building. I haven't really looked into 6 at all, I don't think. NY says, take a step back. If I stipulate that 9/11 was theater, aren't things worse? If MSM is discredited, it seems we are far more controllable by rumor and innuendo. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think things are dramatically worse since 9/11. 9/11 was a real big tipping point.
Jean-Pierre cut it off. Just ended it.
Is something that I think, changed the fabric of the whole country. People got absolutely petrified.
That's what he was playing that earlier.
Foreign terrorists, right? Like this amorphous threat really came in to full fruition. And we all hid from terrorism all the time.
So there's an object on the road.
And then it also allowed them, it provided them cover for the Patriot Act, FISA, surveillance, censorship. It was the pretext for misinformation, which is where we're at now. It enabled the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ to do whatever they want. And it's, it's the same show, just a different season, I guess. It's, foreign terrorism, and it's season 1 is Al-Qaeda. Season 2 is ISIS. Season 3, they went away from the terrorism arc, and then now we're in the pandemic arc.
Down the road farther.
We're in the domestic terrorism for season 4. It's just like, good gosh. But I think it's just like anything, right? I would imagine 9/11, the way that COVID was exploited, and we all saw that openly. I was younger, so I couldn't observe it back then as much, but I would imagine that it was the same exploitations that happened, and that led us into all the wars. And we're still, we just left Afghanistan, like a year ago, 2 years ago. So it was a big deal. 9/11 was a big deal. And I'm sure, just like there are people who, are kind of okay with the pandemic, there are many people okay with 9/11. A lot of money to be made, a lot of wars to be going on. Yep, it's exactly why the Patriot Act happened. The Anti-Kiss shared this, said, just watch the first few minutes of this. It's the best synopsis of 9/11 ever from the Corvette Report. Give that a watch, my friends. 51Ks here says, Ben Franklin warned us about losing freedom and security. Yeah, sacrificing liberty for security. Power grab. Yeah, what's with Building 6? Kelly says, I saw the second plane hit, but did we actually see the first plane? I think there were videos of the first plane. People were filming the towers. Yeah. Yeah, I remember it pretty well. I was in high school. I was down in the library, and the news started to break. Studying before classes. And then we just spent the rest of the day, all day, just watching it in class, from class to class. It was crazy. By the way, Rob, my dad owns that book, and I've seen it in real life, and it's creepy to know they knew as much as they did from Toenail-less Cupcake. Waldo says, I forgot how great video resolution was back then. I know, like 12p, like 12 by 20p. Remember those days? When they were rendering with Crayola crayons? The Antiquus says, NIST wanted us to believe that the buildings fell because ice floats on water. Yes, video crews filmed the first plane. Yeah, I remember seeing the first plane. And everybody thought it might have been an accident or something. Bonnie says, but the videos came out weeks later of the first plane.
No, I saw it the day of.
Maybe there's some funny business going on with those videos.
I saw it the day of.
I was in my 40s and fooled for a while, but listening to Coast opened my eyes. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, right? Good show. V dropped the video in Telegram. Right on, V. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not real sure about Building 6.
You go, Shop.
On the radio. I was working at the switch. Art Bell. That's right. Coast to Coast is with Art Bell. Who's George Norrie then?
It's one of them.
George Norrie. He also had a late night show, didn't he? Yeah, Coast to Coast AM, I think, is George Norrie. And then Art Bell.
Yeah, that's when I used to listen to it too.
What did he do?
Mostly when I worked EMS.
He was the original. Oh, he was the original. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were. Yeah. Art was the first host. Cool. Yeah, good nighttime radio stuff. I mean, those were good days. I remember used to, we drive late at night listening to those guys. That was before the technology and the podcasts and the YouTubes where you can just you can kind of listen to whatever you want. Norrie was the weekend guy. I know both those names. Art is with the aliens now. Good for him. Good for him. Chilling with the aliens. Yeah, they're good conversations. He's asking about Underwriters Laboratories test that took just before. K. Bean says, I was getting ready for work in my BDU's Army uniform and thought, oh crap, I'm going to the desert. Yeah, gosh. What a weird experience, KB. Hey, we got some nice tips coming in the house. Thanks, everybody, for sending these in. Let's see what we got. We had NY. It says, why are there two big, huge boards flanking his podium? That's a good question, NY. And I saw that. I was actually thinking about that. And where was that clip? Right here. No, this one. This one, right? What was that all about? They don't want you to see what he's got going on over there? Is he standing on something? Like they're obviously blockers, right? Like they just don't want you to see. But I did notice that. What were those for? Is that normal? Is that a normal thing? Looks a little different. Like, that's the presidential seal, right? So they're not going to keep that up for everybody else. And obviously this is just Joe Biden, so maybe it was just his press briefing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. T. Lewis is here. What's up, T. Lewis? Thanks for stopping by this morning. Howdy, my fellow watchers. Hope everyone is having a marvelous Monday and had a wicked weekend. Indeed, T. Lewis. Had a nice weekend. Didn't do anything crazy. Got some good workouts in. Got caught up in some stuff around here, which was good because I kind of had a busy week, so I needed some more quiet time. NY's here. Says, how to know the tide is turning. Vosh is a communist YouTuber. Made a video claiming the problem with Biden's economy is that we're not energy dependent in respect to oil. This is from a guy who didn't like one thing Trump did. We're entering weird, uncharted waters. Stay alert. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm familiar with Vosh as a creator, but I don't think I've watched much of his content. So I don't know. It's hard for me to draw, think about a distinction as to why he's going that way. But I think it's going to be a big problem. I mean, Joe Biden the other day limited more oil leases. I think in Alaska, right? There was some news about that. So gas prices are going to go up and up and up. And Mohammed bin Salman is saying he's leading a war to make the Middle East the leader of the world. Here, this was a new clip. So our president is mumbling around in Vietnam, and Mohammed bin Salman is saying he's leading a war. He's leading a war. Here's his statement. Here, I'll just read it. He says, I think that the new Europe will be the Middle East. Thunderous applause. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the next 5 years will be totally different. Bahrain will be totally different. Kuwait, even Qatar. Despite our differences with them, they'll have a strong economy and will be totally different in the next 5 years. UAE, Oman, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, Iraq. The opportunities it has. If we succeed in the next 5 years, many countries will follow us. And the next global renaissance in the next 30 years will be the Middle East, God willing. This is Saudi's war. This is my war, which I personally take, and I do not want to die before I see the Middle East at the forefront of the world. And I think this goal will be achieved 100%. I don't want to die before I see the Middle East as the leader of the world. Good for him, honestly. Good for him. It's like, yeah, that's what you want out of a leader. Yeah, to make your country the best. Yeah, that's great. We'd like to see something like that here. Yeah, the dude is a monster, by the way. Like, they took Jamal Khashoggi and chopped him up into bits. The dude's a monster, right? So I'm not endorsing his leadership style. But, I mean, at least he's standing for his country and his people and what they believe in. Joe Biden's over there talking about China and stuff. So what are you talking about? Can we not have leaders talk about how America should be incredible and the leader of the world and, the symbol for the world? Nobody talks like that anymore. But my point is that there's going to be consequences of that. So I think that they're keeping their oil production low. Our energy prices will continue to go up. Joe Biden is continuing to not drill. They want to electrify everything. That's not the right answer for everybody, and it's going to be a problem. I think he's probably recognizing that, like, this is going to cause them to lose the election. So I think that the only realization you might see people flip is because they're like, we're going to lose. People hate high gas. People hate inflation. And whoever's responsible for that is going to lose. So he shared this one from the Corvette report. And it's got some vid stuff in there, so I'll let you watch that on your own time. NY says, I was a fellow rounding in the ICU. I watched it live, more or less. Very few locals knew which building was Tower 1 or Tower 7. They wanted to do a false flag. Scud missiles fired from a boat are far easier. Why would we not believe a government report that buildings were taken down with missiles? But to hijack planes and hope no one survives, I think a lot of info is deliberately hidden from us. It seems a lot of work to fake several hijackings. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think, it's kind of hard to make 4 planes of people just disappear. There were people on those planes, right? And so, presumably, they were real people and they're now dead, and we, mourn their loss. But I guess, I would say I think that probably the thing that I have questions about is like, what was enabled? What was allowed? What was overlooked? What was malfeasance? Like, same thing with January 6th. Like, no doubt there was a riot. There was some violence. No doubt we saw it. There was,
fuck you, motor carrier.
An interruption of the proceedings. There was damage done to the building. There was a bunch of stuff that happened there. No doubt what we saw. Well, my question is, who allowed that to happen? How was that enabled? Because it absolutely was. Like, what a joke. Otherwise, our government is even more incompetent than I thought, quite frankly. Because they couldn't protect the Capitol building. So that's my question. It's like, who enabled it? Who allowed it? Who stepped out of the way in order for it to happen? But a lot of it probably certainly makes logical sense. Like, I don't think that there were remote-oriented airplanes, that were piloted by some CIA spook somewhere in an office building, right? Like, they're probably most of them, about 95, 98%, probably what we hear was all probably true. But that's the majority stuff. That's not really the important stuff. It's the consequential stuff. It's that secret sauce, that last 2% or whatever, that we've got questions about. Like, for one example is, what's his name? Rumsfeld, talking about trillions of dollars being missing, stuff like that. Let's see about this one.
We're supposed to forget that.
Rumsfeld, talking about $2.3 trillion, right? There's this weird clip. What was this clip about?
Go.
From Donald Rumsfeld, apparently September 10th.
As they say, tangled in our anchor chain. Our financial systems are decades old. According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
Wow.
We cannot share information from floor to floor in this building because it's stored on dozens of different technological systems that are inaccessible or incompatible.
Wow. So that's a lot, $2 trillion of money that you can't find, and then suddenly there's a big attack. And then now nobody's really asking about the trillions because the trillions get lost in the new trillions that you're going to spend in your foreign wars. And it's all just a nice little government accounting gimmick, right? Good to see you, NY. Spud says, I wonder if any of the FDNY found the charges and reported it over the radio. So they had to set off the charges. Maybe they intended to get everyone else out, what the jig was up. So they had to cover their tracks. Yeah, so like you're saying in Building 7, so they had it pre-wired or something, and then when they knew it was a foregone conclusion, then they just pulled it. Like he said, pull it. Now, I think people were saying, now Building 6, so the real Kittler is talking about Building 6.
Good luck, Chopper.
Let's just do a search on this. What happened to Building 6? Looks like it was also destroyed. This is from, by the way, this is from Government Propaganda Wikipedia, which I think the founder of Wikipedia said that Wikipedia had been infested by the feds. Did you guys see that one? Not to digress another level.
Yeah, when he sold it.
Here. But Wikipedia,
after he sold it,
CIA. Let's see. No, I don't want the Wikipedia about it. I want a news story about it. Wikipedia controlled by
Feds.
Can't even find it, really. Amazing. So the co-founder of Wikipedia, I think, said something about this. I can't find it, which is just incredible, but I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah, Larry Sanger. Anyways, he says it's all controlled by the feds. The feds probably banned that story too. But anyways, this is 6 World Trade Center, 8-story building, Lower Manhattan, opened 1974, destroyed in 2001 after the attacks. So that was also destroyed. Building 7 dropped. History, the building was designed, it was home to U.S. Customs Service for the state of New York. Tenants inside. Look at all these government entities that were inside. Isn't that fun? We had United States Customs, United States Department of Commerce, ATF was there, Agriculture was there, Labor was there, Peace Corps, Export-Import Bank of the United States was there. During 9/11, the collapse destroyed large sections of 6 World Trade Center. The building's ruins were demolished to make way for reconstruction. The building was weakened and then pulled down with cables. The new building is up there today. So just the whole area just got obliterated. Here's what the ground map looks like. Okay, so that's 6. Yeah, I mean, it's right next door, right? So 6 World Trade Center. Now, building 7's a little bit further away, right? So, like, here. That's building 7. Okay, so that's interesting, right? That's pretty interesting now that I think about this. So just look at this map here. So this is 1 World Trade Center. This is 2 World Trade Center. So these are the 2 towers, the 2 giant towers. World Trade Center 6 is right here. World Trade Center 7 was the one that they said was pulled, right? That's the one that dropped. But look at the damage on 6. Like 6 didn't collapse fully. 7 dropped. But this is what 6 looks like. I mean, 6 didn't drop fully. So that's literally what it looked like. Gosh, all these pop-ups. Right? So in other words, if this was the building, literally right next to one of the towers, and 7 is behind it, why did 7 fall, but 6 stay up like this? Huh? The real Hitler? Huh? Why'd that happen? Right? Because like the damage, you would say the blast zone from this area would have been stopped by 6. Like it went past 6 and knocked down 7? Come on. Come on. And why didn't Barclays fall, the old post office building? Why didn't the Verizon building fall? Most of the debris should have been blocked by World Trade Center 6. And then the other one just falls like a...
controlled demolition.
Very curious.
Yeah.
That's the... Yeah, that's 6. So 7... They probably pulled it. They probably pulled it just like Larry said. Which is why it fell. What's up, The Real Hitler? Good share, The Real Hitler. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Hey, Bean says directed energy weapons, man. Uh-oh, voice says he's heading down this rabbit hole too. Uh-oh.
Everybody is today, and then they forget about it in a couple
days. That was a
days.
good one. I wasn't familiar with Building 6. You did blow my mind. Thank you for that. It's good stuff. Yeah, Spuds, I wonder if any of the FDNY found the charges and reported it over the radio. So they had to set off the charges. And you heard, like, you guys have heard those videos of the firemen, right? Like FDNY, I think they were saying, like, explosives. Like, they said it made sounds like boom, 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 boom. And let's see if I can.
All right, guys. Dirty.
Grab that. Yeah, there was these officers, I remember, a lot of videos.
Yeah, I'm going to do a desktop stream. It may take me a second to get set up, though, because
or like explosions.
We'll see if anybody shows up. But, yeah, I know I was off almost all weekend besides the concert.
Okay, all right? Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
I'll be back. Peace. Thanks for riding with me.